Welcome back. A confrontation between a police officer and a civilian has sparked a firestorm after it was posted on YouTube. Now, the video could land the man who photographed it in prison for 16 years for wiretapping. Anthony Graber was wearing a helmet cam on the road. Excuse me. The camera was still rolling when he was pulled over by a police officer for speeding. The officer, you see him there wearing plain clothes or street clothing, bolts out of the car, gun in hand. Carlos Miller is the founder of a blog he calls, quote, "Photography is not a crime." Carlos, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you have a unique situation here. You yourself were arrested twice for photographing police against their wishes, and you interviewed the motorcyclist in this story. First, I'll ask you, what did he tell? What's his version?
Well, I interviewed him just after he got out of jail, and you know, he turned himself in because they raided his house, they confiscated all his computers and his cameras and everything, and he's a National Guardsman. He's never been arrested before. He's always tried to do the right thing. So he turned himself in, and he ended up spending 26 hours in jail on these wiretapping charges, which really have nothing to do with the actual incident. You know, wiretapping charges are meant for telephone conversations where someone does have an expectation of privacy. In this case, the officer was on the side of a road on Interstate 95. He had no expectation of privacy. So yeah, it's really far-fetched that they're using this to arrest him. Now, the camera was actually in the motorcyclist's helmet. Why did he have a camera there in the first place? Yes. Well, he had it sticking out of his helmet. He was just doing it for, I guess, thrills. He wanted to record himself popping his wheelies, doing this, you know, he's speeding, he was going in excess of 100 miles an hour, which, you know, he got a ticket for that, you know, and he admits to what he did, and he got punished for that, but he does not deserve to be raided. He does not deserve to be facing 16 years in prison, and the camera was very obvious. I mean, the picture is on my blog. You know, you don't see a motorcycle helmet with a camera sticking out of the helmet usually, so you know it was a camera, so the officer knew he was being recorded, which is probably why he put his gun away, you know, in a couple of seconds after he pulled it out. Well, to be fair here, listen, the Maryland State Police spokesperson tells the Washington Post the officer never pointed his gun at Graber and that he put it away as soon as he saw Graber complied with his demands. It is impossible that this video and others like it don't tell the entire, is it possible that this video does not tell the entire story? Carlos? Well, you know, it really doesn't matter if it tells the entire story or not. The fact is, it is not, he should not be going to jail for going to prison for 16 hours. Why doesn't it matter? Years. Well, because it's part of the evidence. You know, and when you're doing an investigation, you use this video, and we see a lot of that video. We see that he was speeding, and we see the cop pulled out a gun, and he never identified himself as a police officer until several seconds later. And no, he did not point it at Graber, but he did. I mean, it was very intimidating. How many people get a gun pulled on them for a traffic stop? Right. I mean, that's not a regular occurrence. Maybe in Maryland, but not here. Now, is your concern, though, a larger picture here? You've got a lot of people with cell phone cameras these days. We can tape any and everything. That the police feel they're under pressure, and there's a backlash against people who may take them on with video. Well, you know, they're recording us, they're videotaping us, they have dashboard cams, and now they're carrying video cameras in our uniforms. You know, in Kansas, there's a police sheriff's office, they're using cameras on our uniform. The San Jose Police Department, they're using that. And in California, you have a two-party consent law. So how come they're not being indicted on wiretapping charges? So, I mean, so we record them. It's a First Amendment right to document, to observe what police officers are doing. I mean, they have no expectation of privacy in public while they're doing their public duties. So it's not really a question. All right, Carlos Miller, we greatly appreciate it. We'll continue to follow this story from both sides of the debate on this one. Thank you. Well, the Senate is poised to